In the penultimate game up here in Berlin, we may just see Gen G Gold truly living up to their name. Over in the Korean region, they got 3 second places in the leagues, and they may have just secured enough buffer to find themselves a gold medal here in TPP. We'll have to find out, though, what goes down on in game number 8. Gentlemen, though, overall, Gen G Gold, we thought they were going to turn up. They definitely did in that first win. They definitely did here in the second win as well.
And what a turn up indeed. Gen G Gold finally able to break that curse. We're very close to. We're still on that one. If they do, though, it's a majestic break of curse of always getting that second place. They never managed to win anything. They were always very consistent. They were always sitting at the very top. But, you know, in the final days, they always get the second place in every tournament they go. This is their chance.
We talked about it yesterday, getting 4 guys alive in the end zones. They managed that today in every game. If they do this in the last game here, they're going to win it all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they may. And also some kind of brazen and very aggressive tactics coming out from Gen G Gold as well. You pointed out very accurately, Boogie, they seem to use, or be able to use, vehicles very late into the game where not all other teams are actually going to dare to do.
And that's such a strange thing for us Westerners to see, because we're used to FPP where mostly vehicles are going to be dished around the 4th circle, as you mentioned earlier, Martin. But for us to see Gold taken on the 7th circle, on the 7th point, driving their vehicle inside, that was the most surprising thing I've ever seen today from any of the teams. Well, apart from Ibiza's wall smoke there, or smoke wall rather. But yeah, a very surprising move, and it assured them a very clear victory.
Your thoughts, Martin, when you're looking at how Gen G Gold was able to play out those last few circles?
I mean, they got the circle, they got the circle, or were in the circle, they pushed in the circle cleverly. They had the bridge until they knew where the circle was going to go. Then they breached that Harry Potter beautiful, and also breached again on Chiefs in the small shack. So they took control of the circle, even though it went away from them, and kept all 4 players alive. So they deserved this win, even into the super late stages where everybody was kind of just passively playing around them. They just wanted to sweep. They wanted to make sure they got as much kills as possible.
It's as if Lauren had read my mind when she was commentating that game, because at the very beginning, we're going to start a little bit more chronologically here. I was making the note, everybody positioning their cars, positioning their vehicles in cover, making sure they're not going to be able to be shot at, so they have them available for later on. A minute later, Hansi instantly makes the point of that. And that's very important, right, Avenger? In this game, you need to have those tools available to you when you're able to transition.
Especially in TPP, I mean, they use this as cover. They use it as moving cover. You see, especially in the Asian scene, they take USs, they back them up into smokes. They smoke vehicles to make sure that they can use them on the later stage, because especially in third person, having something in front of you that is mobile, that you can use as a wall and peek over is just so important.
Yep. Sorry, yeah, Team Savage actually mentioned they're eating the wall, or eating through the wall.
Right.
So the US becomes that much more powerful of eating through that wall, because when you're in FPP, you only have 2 angles to peek from behind a vehicle. You either have the left side of the vehicle or the right side. When you're in TPP, you can see above it, so that gives you such a huge advantage. So yes, smoking a vehicle in this situation seems like smoking saves lives.
Yeah, in this instance at least. But regardless of that, one thing we did want to highlight here before, you know, all the Gen G Gold greatness coming out here, is actually a Vanguard, almost kind of a psychological move, potentially setting up for future, going up against Xanadu, maybe into FPP.
I mean, we talked about it, that Xanadu was pushing into North George further and further, taking more compounds, more apartment complexes further in, and they came down to this where the road kind of separates it. But now Vanguard, they're not looking very good in the kind of the bottom, but I think they're making a point to Xanadu. If you mess with us, we will mess with your rotations, because you have to go through us unless you want to go all the way to Saki and come in from the north. So I'm 100% sure that that's why they stayed out. They want us to make a point to them, make sure when we play FPP, this is our town.
Exactly, this is an FPP type of message. And this is Battle Royale, this is PUBG, this is how you send a message without saying any words. Yep. This is the perfect way to make sure your voice is heard.
Yeah, Keenan Nukativ really causing a few problems there on that transition, trying to hinder Xanadu wherever they could. Moving on, of course, though, something that was very important overall is that actually, because we got such a center circle, everyone was playing very center, very fast.
Yeah, that was such a fast century for most of those teams. We saw Na'Vi barely make it into pre-Wars, actually, barely starting their looting when most of the other teams were actually quite centered into the circles. Of course, Na'Vi had a bit of a difficult start. They had to stop by the military bridge. They had to loot a little bit there. They finally found the vehicles to go into pre-Wars, can work their way around. And I actually liked where they ended up later on. But yeah, a very early centering means that a lot of teams had a great opportunity, but then again, Century didn't stay on for a lot of them.
Yeah, obviously the center strats helped for some of the early portions, but later on, admittedly, we saw some big shifts in those circles eventually.
Yeah, super unfortunate for Liquid, honestly, because again, Liquid do the Liquid rotations, right? We see them come in outside the blue in second or even third circle. Here they went, they saw the third circle, and they moved while the second circle was still moving, and then they came all the way on the other side, on the western side, as the second circle closed in on the third. When it closed, it popped away from them. So they just used 2 and 3 minutes on the big rotation coming in, and there's no love from the circle god. So they had to push in, do another Hail Mary, as we see them do so often. Huge Hail Mary, throwing it all the way in the middle. Liquid, they got 5th from that. So very important getting into the top 5 because of that.
4th, in fact. So not too
4th,
bad at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Top 5, right.
So some really good points for them, obviously. And what else we need to look at is what happened to WTSG? What was going on with Grenade?
I don't know. I was actually talking this morning to America when he was saying, "Oh my God, look at this mouse pad! It is the best mouse pad I've ever had in my entire life." And then this happens. They've mistaken. Well, they stopped Profi on top from Ghost Gaming in the sniper tower that they were trying to get. They tried to nade the first one, failed. The second one wasn't that great either. Then they naded themselves inside the bottom of the sniper tower. It was a bit of fun to watch, but I'm sure it wasn't fun for them at all.
On top of that, though, Larsen again snuck in, got a very good position.
So good.
Super fantastic play for them. Imagine what they could have done with all 4 players live.
Can we finally put it to rest and say that Larsen is the utmost clutch player in the world? I think this is the case, and I don't think anybody's going to take that away from him anytime soon.
Larsen, great snake, great 1v1er. I like it. It was very good. Obviously, though, something that's very important as well is these rankings. Who is able to rack up the most kills so far? ESCA, the man from gold, is able to take 20 kills so far, and he pushes beyond Minoru, he pushes beyond Lion KK, but you notice the top 3 all Eastern teams. They understand TPP.
Exactly, and that shows you the power of one great game. Just one is all it took for Gold to have an MVP and to solidify their first place position. So right now they're sitting real pretty at the top of the leaderboard.
I mean, Avenger, they're looking to take all the money here at this point in time because ESCA, they're not only getting themselves potentially that 10,000 if they continue things into game number 8, but also if they stay in that first spot, $400,000 would be theirs. Let's take a look at the round rankings. As you see, 11th through 20th here. Again, Genji Black not able to keep up that momentum from game number 1. Avenger, what else sticks out to you in those spots?
Imagine if you could take Genji Black's day 1 and then you can take Genji Gold's day 2 and put them together. Then you would have an invincible TPP team, right?
Super team. That would be perfect for them.
Super unfortunate for them. They said it yesterday when we heard the interviews. They said it yesterday. They were very humble about it, right? So speaks a lot to this.
Look at that. 240 points.
Damn.
Just from kills. That is half a chicken dinner coming in from Genji Gold.
Navi managed to show up as well with the 7 kills that they got themselves and get into that second place. That's kind of more the Navi that we expected a little bit in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. They came in a bit late into the circle because they had that Primorsk very late rotation. And then when they made their way in, they had a bit of a questionable 2+2. They didn't have visibility from 1-2 to the other. But somehow they grouped up when the circle shrank onto the 2 players that were a bit further in. And that set them in a great place, but...
That's a big lead for Genji Gold at the moment. Almost 500 points, and that is going to be hard to catch up with here. So unless someone like Team Liquid can have a monster round, it might be all confirmed.
I really want to point out real quick, it's 7 games, so we do have one more, but we have all 3 European teams that doesn't play TPP in the top 5.
Correct.
In the TPP. That's insane to me.
That does me proud.
I didn't expect this. I mean, I did not expect
Actually, I have a big question to ask you just in general. I know that you're very hands-on when it comes to the scrims for Europe. How often has TPP even played in scrims?
Almost never.
Almost never.
I think they had one game or one day where they had it, but they had a lot more scrims than this on the stage here the last couple of days than they had the last 9 months.
Right. Big, important notes to take here. Let's take a look at the WTSG, of course, as they, in that round, got themselves a 6th place, and they're trying to go up these rankings as much as they can. They're still in big money, but they want to get into big money.
I mean, 400,000, 160,000, 100,000. It's a huge lead just in the top 5. And of course, this is what they're fighting for. Right now, these guys, they can't catch gold. I think Liquid is the only one that can catch gold. Kind of indirectly, but we're talking 400-something points, right?
Yeah.
It's more than a win plus kills.
So the only good thing here would be for Liquid to hot drop gold and expect to come out with 4 players alive and with the good circle, but Liquid aren't the team that they're going to be doing that. For sure they're not.
I mean, you make a very important point, though, because Liquid not only needs to have an amazing round, they also need gold to have a terrible round.
That's it.
That would have to be their tactic if they were trying to push, but then do you risk the current 200,000 points that... dollars that you're currently stood on? That's difficult.
No, not at all. I mean, this is not
That's not Liquid.
That's not Liquid, and I mean, yes, we would see if they had a huge lead. We're talking that nobody else in the top, the third place, they couldn't catch them. That would be the only point where it would be viable to hot drop. Right now, they also have to come out on top with 4 guys and then fight 18 other teams. That's not going to happen. They're going to play. They have Yasnaya. God damn it. It's the best city. It is going to leave that.
I agree. I drop there all the time. I love Yasnaya. Thank you very much, Avenger, for confirming my suspicions. And it is 160,000, not 200,000 for that second place. All important is there correct that Xanadu Windfall here has been showing up a little bit more throughout day number 2 compared to day number 1.
I mean, this is also the kind of circle they have, right? The circle they want. They didn't have any kills, though. They did have a top 4 position in it, top 5, sorry. They got 5th in the last game, but they snuck their way in. It was a circle close to them. You would expect a Milta team to be very close to the farm area.
Savage Esports here, we see on the screen, talking to them earlier on, they were saying they want to have a more aggressive day. The only thing that they want to come out with, that they've learned from yesterday, is the fact that they played a bit too passive. They said even when we're on open ground, because of the way 3PP works, or TPP works, we should still be going open and taking the fight.
And they've shown in the past that they can have big rounds, big games. In their qualifiers alone, rounds like 24 kills, 17 kills coming in. Not out of order, but at the same time, we have, of course, OMG here as well, who have constantly been able to get themselves good spots and currently sits in 3rd place, all importantly. $100,000, big money again.
I mean, $100,000, who wouldn't want to go home with that? But again, they also challenge Liquid. They're close to Liquid. They want to get more. $60,000 if you just beat Liquid, if you play this last game just a little more consistent than Liquid.
This last game is worth more for these teams than the PUBG tournaments that we had when we started the scene. That's how big this game has turned into. This is how big this final game is right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you take that 1st place spot here in TPP with that $400,000, that is $50,000 per round. I would like the hourly income, I'll be honest. That's very good for them. So looking at it, Genji Gold in a great spot at the moment. 1st place, Liquid here though, 2nd place, very good spot. And we are ready, gentlemen, for our final game of TPP. So bring us home as we head over to Pansy and Sims for game number 8 of PGI 2018 TPP.
Thank you so much, and what a way to set the scene. One team's legacy begins right here, right now. The confirmation of whoever wins this walks away with not only the lion's share of a hell of a lot of money, but the pride and, as said, the legacy that supports that. The first team to truly claim a crown.
Every single team that has been playing through qualifiers set out to do one thing, and that's to be on that stage picking up a gold pan. For these players, it's not about the money. The money, don't get me wrong, it's a nice advantage.
It's nice.
But these players play their hearts and souls to be crowned champions. And after this, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we are going to be doing. Now, we have to touch on it. Genji Gold are giving themselves one hell of a bit of breathing room. That is a massive gap that Liquid have to jump.
Now, mathematically, it's possible. It could happen for Liquid, but not only would they need gold to do badly, which feels like it's impossible, these guys are playing out of their skin. Liquid would not only need to win, they'd need gold to do badly, they'd need Liquid to get a lot of kills as well, and gold to get no kills. So, I mean, if the stars align for Liquid, hey, maybe it could happen. But for now, we're going to have to keep our eyes on that unfolding. Beyond that, though, that 3rd place is incredibly close. It's very hard to split that. So whoever's going to work that one out, I feel for you. Because OMG sit pretty well right now in that sort of position. We have WTSG, we have Knights, we have Made in Time. We have so many of these teams sitting very, very close by in that 3rd, sort of down to 5th, 6th position. Anyone could leapfrog each other here.
I love it how Avenger just said, you know what? look at where the Europeans are. They're all in the top 5. bit of favouritism and bias from you there,
Just a
eventually.
touch.
See you just a little bit. Can we also just take a moment to kind of think back to Gamescom, when this was kind of first showcased and first put, and how much this has developed, not only from where we were then to this beautiful thing where we are now, but the scene, all the TOs that are working in the grassroots, all the online competitions, the whole esports ecosystem that's been building up, and then we moved to PGI, and then we moved to this. Things have come on leaps and bounds, not only with the game, but with the whole esports ecosystem as a whole. Absolutely. And it's just been so fantastic to see, right from the very bottom, you know, people playing in the GLLs, working up to the GLL finals, stamping a name on themselves, all the grassroots scenes, working up to your majors, your big competitions, and now $2 million.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's obviously not only a big thank you to the people in the arena who've been amazing throughout today, and we found out that apparently Chinese teams get a whole lot of love when it comes to PUBG. Who'd have thought it in Berlin? But it's a thing apparently. And obviously all you guys at home, again, thank you to you guys for being amazing throughout this. I want to know what you guys think. Who do you think's walking away in that top 3 position? Who's got first? Who's got second? Who's got third? Because there's so many passionate fans in this game already. People love watching these teams. There's so much personality to them, and there's so many individuals that you just can't help but love getting behind.
And we'll see this more as this game gets bigger, as the esports scene gets even more huge. And it already is, to have this level of competition, to have this kind of stage in the background. We're playing on this so early on in its life, in my opinion. Things are only going to get bigger. And with the amount of followings that these players will get, you'll start to see your personalities. Okay, we only see this in North America and Europe because we cast over these players and we see the scene that develops. But for instance, as you touched on, Lauren, Chinese scene, the Korean scene, there is so many different scenes that are just budding in their own rights.
Absolutely.
And growing world champion, well, potential world champions.
Well, I mean, we went outside for a breath of fresh air just to take a step back after that last game. It was pretty heated. And no one cared about us. They were just like, all right, players, we need pictures with you guys. And I was like, fair play. I support this thoroughly. So it was it's pretty incredible to see it growing at this sort of rate. And I think this final game will just be the icing on that cake. Now, we have so much more to bring throughout this entire weekend coming up. There's a lot more action, of course. This is just the third-person perspective games. This is only the first step on that stage. It's such an incredible, tantalizing prospect that we have coming up for the next couple of days, couple of hours, couple more games, and I can't wait for any single one of those.
I think it's a good thing that we've managed to kind of get rid of this nuance of, you know, East versus West, TPP versus FPP. I think this weekend, excuse me, the weekend, we're on first 2 days. I think the first 2 days have kind of thrown that one aside. All right, when you look at the fraggers, for instance, top 3, okay, we'll go with that. There's always, if you're playing in that mode competitively,
mechanically you're on point on it.
You're going to have a natural progression. But still, I think when we get to FPP, all right, don't get me wrong, you're going to start seeing your CIS boys, your Navi, your Amanga, they're going to start stepping it up and being a little bit better than what we see now. At least I hope so, because those guys can do formidable stuff.
Yes.
But nobody's going to roll over and show the belly.
Oh, no. I think we've seen that already. This is the impressive factor to me, is that every single player, every single team has shown they have a lot to bring to this stage. Now, again, you guys at home, if you're wondering, we're just waiting for the game to kick off. As soon as we do, we'll be live into that. So do not think we're holding you back for a second, because trust me, we want to see it as much as you do at this point. We are dying to see that final round. Okay, give me the top 3, Rip.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why
it's my birthday. I can do what I want.
Why did you do? Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
Spam the chat. Go on, make sure you just do it. You won't go cringe. Don't worry about that one. Top
Where's
3.
Frankie to sing to Shroud?
Imagine. Anyway, I think we'll see Generation Gaming Gold. I think the buffer is too much to handle. It was touched on the desk about a potential hot drop. I don't think at this level of competition it's going to happen. Unless Liquid really want to say we are the best and #1 in the world, I don't think it's going to happen.
So I remember the controversy about FaZe and the potential to hot drop Liquid. Now, I spoke to the FaZe coach a while afterwards. I was like, we discussed this. We said it on the desk. We went through all the theories as to could you have done that. And when we say hot drop, essentially what we mean is you specifically go to an area to take out a team who could potentially open up the opportunity for you to then leapfrog ahead on the rankings. So for example, if FaZe wanted to qualify to make it here, the one chance they had was to maybe quote-unquote hot drop in towards Liquid and Yasnaya rather than going towards their usual Milta, taking them out and pushing further forward. Now, spoke to the FaZe guys and, well, the coach, and he said, simply enough, we don't think individually we could win a clean fight, get away, get the loot. These teams are very good. You can't just walk into their areas and think you can get away with it. It doesn't happen like that. Sure, you might get 1 or 2 kills, but one of those players could just get in a car, get in a vehicle, hide behind a tree, do anything, and you haven't taken them out. You've hindered their chances, sure, but you have not cut off everything. So again, it's very tricky to see a world where that happens and where it's clean. I don't think that, you know, Gen G Black are going to move at all. I mean, oh, excuse me, Gold, they are looking solid individually and as a collective. I don't think you can push those guys out of Novo too easy.
The bigger picture is, what does it do to your economy? What are your meds like? How many times have you been knocked? How many players you've lost? What's your gear like? Like, it wrecks so much. Imagine if you do it, and then the circle completely shift polar opposite, you're literally scraping. Like, next fight survivability is nil. It's so much damaging. It's kind of touched on what you mentioned about FaZe. God bless them. Speaking to the players, there is so much respect amongst that scene. It's ridiculous. Like, all of FaZe the night before, I was speaking to them before the very final night, they're saying no matter what happens, Europe is sending 3 world-class teams to PGI. Simple as that. And I think there's a level of respect. It's like, do we really want to mess up? What happens if we maybe win that and then die straight away? Or they get 19th position because they've got 1 player alive, but we've messed up Liquid's chances of
It's an interesting theory. I think that, again, I don't think we'll see it from Liquid. It's one of the things that we have to kind of highlight to you guys as a potential, as something that could happen, but it's very unlikely. Beyond that, from second place down, it's, you know, anyone's game here. Anyone could be doing that sort of play. Anyone could approach the matchup and say, all right, my best chance right now is to take out this team. We're going to be headhunters here. We're going to go after them. That could happen to not necessarily the higher tier 1 teams, but maybe the lower, slightly further down teams. They could, in theory, be doing that. In theory.
The money is quite top heavy, and obviously people will be kind of trying and jump up to that top area of the board, which is fair play. And I think this is what's good, because now it still gives, even though, all right, you'll look at Gen G Black and you'll think, my word, there's still, Gen G is so far in front, we can't catch them up. But there's still a lot to play for below that. All right, you don't have to chase first position. Gen G can just sit there, do their own thing, but everyone else can at least look and say, okay, well, we've still got 5th, 6th, 7th to play for. All right, and as the old saying, if you're not first, you're last. I can get behind that, but for now, for teams, it's a matter of just trying to scrape as much money as you can, get up the leaderboard, and set a precedence for FPP. Say, okay, you know, I mean, I'm gonna call it as it is. If I were TG now, I'd be a little bit embarrassed going into FPP. All right, it's third person, but you came out of North America as the #1 spot. You don't even have 1,000 points on the board.
It's not good. It's not good enough. So it's simply put, I don't know what's, you know, maybe there could be jet lag, there could be plenty of issues plaguing them, but that's not a performance that you'd expect at this level. You expect the best sort of players to come out here on this sort of caliber. So again, you've got to be seeing more from these guys, and if you're them, you look maybe over these demos, over the VODs, or whatever you want to do, and you reflect on that, and you try and bring something better into the first-person perspective sort of, I guess, approach. And maybe they just do not mess with third-person perspective. Maybe it doesn't sit well with them, but I don't think that excuse is good enough anymore. We've seen the differences between teams who are very diligent at it. Your likes of anyone who's within that top 10 currently, who play it on a more regular basis, but then you have the Europeans who aren't necessarily completely, I guess, refined in the same thing. You see that reflected mechanically. If you look at your MVPs, for example, very different to what you'd maybe expect on a different day. So for now, we are just getting everyone into the game. Again, if you are wondering what's happening, we're just making sure everything's good to go. It's the final round. We don't want to mess around with this. This is what all comes down to. This is the one that matters. This could change everything in theory.
This could literally make dreams or crush them. It's what we've seen throughout the stories. I mean, I still got to say, for Generation Gold, coming through, winning out of 5 Pro Tours, coming second in 3 of them, is kind of setting a statement. 3 players with a 36-team league. That's very cutthroat.
Yes.
You have to be consistent to get through there. To not only get 1, and remember these that are all KSV rosters if you are, or obviously on the Korean scene and see them, to be able to put 2 teams through is fantastic work. We saw yesterday, Generation Gaming Black, they blew it out of the water. They were #1 when we came into today. Both teams have played absolutely lights out, but again, it's amazing how one day can change everything. You get the lay of the land. They were still consistent. I think they kind of, ironically, did what they did in the onlines. They had 3 second-place placements.
we kind of said about that at the start of the day as well.
Like, this would be their first ever event win.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Imagine.
Well, I do see the plane route coming on my screen, so that does mean we are not far away from this now. It means that the teams are almost ready to get themselves into the matchup. And looking at that plane route, Rich, could be a little bit of trouble for the teams in the East.
Yes. Do you want to talk too much to let people see it? Or?
I think we can just say that Gold might have a longer route to get there this time around. Not by a massive margin,
not by a massive amount, but
it's still readily available for most, essentially north and south.
We will say this: the Georgia Pole teams, they're going to have a bit of an easier run, or an easier start, should we say? They'll probably, the Georgia Pole teams, anyone north, south, whatever you want to go, hospital, they'll be down looting potentially before we see Millie Base and Novo teams, even Milta teams, actually being able to get the boots on the ground.
Absolutely, and again, thank you for your patience. We are almost ready in this one. You can see the teams for those last couple of seconds going through the motions, discussing what the plan is, getting themselves focused, ensuring they know exactly what they need to be doing. And that team Liquid on your screen there, the ones on the left, have probably the most to be said, but look stoic in nature right now, look focused on the task at hand, and standing in their way are Genji Gold, who have looked formidable, have looked robust, have looked absolutely deadly, and it's why they sit in first position. But it does seem as though we are almost ready to get this one started here into the grand finals. Right now we need to wait and find out who will be walking away in first, who's second, who's third, and how it runs off the back of that, because these teams are fighting tooth and nail for this.
All right, Berlin, this is it. This is round number 8. There's some crowd mics live. Make some noise! There's plenty of people, but there's only one more game. This is it. It all comes down to this. Who will be your global champion? All eyes are on Gen G Gold. Could this be their first event win? And what an event win it would be.
Well, so far, I see Liquid going to the usual positioning. That means we're not seeing the hot drop theory coming out. That's not on the cards here. Now, beyond that, I'm not sure what to see. I'm not sure what to be looking at or who gets pressured. Again, 4 AM, heading over to what we know. They've had a couple of scuffles at the start, though. This has not been completely smooth sailing for them. They've had a lot of challenges early on.
It's not been clean, and I think this is why maybe they've opted to go slightly elsewhere. I'm looking further afield. Liquid, they're up in Yasnaya. The hot drop's not there. They're laughing. The Knights' usual position. I generally think, unless we see anything weird and wonderful, it's business as ever. Play your game, do the normal stuff. 4 AM actually. They've clearly they want to jump on this one. 4 AM are the difference makers here. They've not gone Military Island. Instead, they're up in Stalbert. And you know what? That's paid off for them, because look at where this first circle lands. Yeah,
they are the difference makers. You saw, if you were watching the map with real Hawk vision, I don't know how good you guys are at home, but you would have been seeing Liquid keeping tabs on this. I think it's Ibiza possibly looking over, looking to see where these players are landing. Is this the hot drop we were worried about, or are we okay? So in the back of your mind, you're still worried about that. There is a potential for players to push down south from Stalbert and pressure in towards Yasnaya, but again, that shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be the case. And for now, every team is just going to go and try and play this out as calmly as they can.
Quiet before the storm. Usual suspects doing the usual thing. Genji Gold. Lock down in Nova. No one's going to touch the Genji. They're happy. They can do their own thing. Further afield, what do we have? Let's take a look. Gatka Fields. The Aussies are up there. They're happy. #1 qualifiers from OCE. Georgia Pole, business as ever. Windfall, we have Avanga. Still, Genji Black is there with WTSG. Same 2-2 split through Crates and Hospital. Myth throughout Rosoc. OH will take down a little bit of a split here. One of the players has gone Watertown. TG pushing in quite early. They're doing the very, very old, what I would call the super old, the first iteration of Liquid, when they got the vehicles and just kind of spread out between Pachinki, below school area. They do get a lot of vehicles, at least that is one of the better options of that, but still things haven't been going their way this entire tournament so far. Interestingly, through Milta, we do have one of the teams at the bottom that might potentially, I suppose, if you now Generation Game, you have Gold, you've got to be careful of that bridge. You don't want to make, you know, in the final game, the bridge be the death of you, because that'd be, honestly, be heartbreaking altogether. In terms of early scuffles, we actually have OMG pushing into Savage territory. Savage have changed things up because they've been your Milter boys for these past few games and this past few days, but they're opting to move through what I call the Longwoods, just above Ferry Pier. We might see a fight here. There is a player, 2 players from in Ferry Pier waiting for them.
And I'm wondering how Genji Gold actually rotate away from their position currently. That's really interesting to me, is because often when you see that circle, if you are a Novo player, you're always tempted to kind of go the longer way around because you're worried about the Lipovka, Milter Town, Prison, all these sort of teams. But there actually isn't that many teams playing that area in this game, so you might just kind of put yourself in a worse position by overthinking things. But we'll keep our eyes towards that later into the game. For now, as you said, there's a couple of teams nearish by, some maybe changing up a little bit, moving positions slightly, but again, everyone's kind of respecting roughly where they are. There's always that little bit of a threat towards George. We know that Welcome to South George are there. We know that Genji Black do play that 2-2 split very well, that pressured down WTSG not too long ago.
Again, everyone's just going to be, this is the quiet before the storm. Things will chill out. Everyone's in the normal places, which obviously also suggests that everyone get the gear. We speak about loot routes. This is the problem where people like to kind of take a poke and a prod at you early game. Individual players, when they land, they will have their own... Ooh. OMG, silence down and dead. That's rough. We did speak about this, so this was the Ferry Pier fight I said he needed to be careful of. They dropped off 1 player, but Savage have changed up, so they wouldn't have expected him to be there. Sits inside, 15 points goes his way. Not a cracking start for OMG. The 1 player will bail back to the rest of his remaining team members over in the farmlands.
Now saying that with OMG, they need to be careful here because they were one of the teams sitting in 3rd position. So this now opens up a little bit more potential, a little bit more in the minds of the European teams sitting below them. That's a nice thing to see for them on that kill feed. They'll be thinking, okay, that could be a little bit of something going on for us, but it's very, very light for now. They need a lot more to be happy into this round.
I think the one for me, just because there's so much on the line for them, because there's so many points at stake, it's seeing if Generation Gaming Gold do make it into the circle. To get through that, they do have CGW right in front of them. Obviously, you have Honey Badger Nation over in Millie Base. This time they're clean and clear, so no one will be holding them back. They'll have the loot routes. They'll have all the gear in the world. They'll be tanked up. If they haven't got level 2s throughout both helmet, chest, and bags, I'd be very disappointed. You'll have attachments on weapons, compensators. You'll have extended mags. You'll have scopes. You know, we don't talk about all these little intricate things that go on the end of a gun. There's so much more in the backlines when you're thinking about, you know, your gear and your setup, the bandages, the stims. Do you have the meds? Do you have the first aid kits? Can you at least survive a fight? How's the durability? This game actually at heart looks very simple and looks quite basic, but it's so deep as the meta and the things that you need to do to be able to survive. Next fight survivability. There's aim punch. There's so many different intricate things that we don't get time to dip into. Something like this, though, a circle like this, gives everyone and allows everyone to gear up properly and be able to approach and take fights as they need to.
And I'm loving seeing the support in chat for Liquid and Gold. The fans are out in force for these two. I'm seeing the hash, you know, Liquid Gold coming through the whole time. I'm loving it. But again, we'll be seeing if maybe one of those two teams could challenge each other. For now, it looks like, as you said, business as usual. A lot of the teams going for early positioning. And they're going very close to that river that snakes its way through the island. But there's really a lot of teams there. You know, Rostock isn't exactly free and up for grabs. Wardstown, certainly not the case either. So you've got to be very cautious in the northern compounds, the houses and buildings north of that main river to the south of shooting range are already kind of taken up here. There's a couple you can get yourself into. We know that third person allows you a bit more maneuverability with positioning.
I mean, this is the two differences we see between circles, right? If it's an all-land circle, everyone will try and just quite literally go for a land grab. Hit the center. Find a compound, find somewhere nice, chill, try and at least best predict where the circle's going to go. All right, it's random, you don't know where the circle's going to go, but you can edge your bets by getting more central. That gives you a better and a bigger chance. Obviously, we do have hard shifts, and sometimes it doesn't go that way. If we get these water circles where it's like 40–50% water, then you see quite a lot of teams rotating and just sticking on the edge, looking around the north and the southerly areas, simply because there is no center just yet. There is no center of the map. The circle will definitely move. So something like this, it will be a little bit slow. That's going to hurt.
A little bit careful here. OMG need to be aware of themselves as well, and the fact they're only down to 3, and these are one of the teams that could really challenge Tracer Fire being put towards Ghost Gaming, who might have to bail out of this situation. A sharp turn as you can see them shift away as Lion KK lays down a couple of shots with that 4x, sitting very comfortably on top of the 416. Compensator too, that's going to feel very nice with plenty of ammo to support it.
Nice little compound there for OMG. I think the only thing is that there's not going to be anyone in Pochinki at this stage. You'll generally think, okay, they'll move on. You do have the windows on top of those barns. You can get an elevated line of sight. I'm quite surprised there is 2 teams, actually. CGW and AHQ. Miraku does take out Cheyenne Blue. CGX, he's down and dead, finished off. Am I actually hearing a chant in the audience? I'm hearing something. Like you say, you mentioned it in Twitch chat, obviously mentioned it out here. It's good to see the fan base is coming out in full force. Savage. Low kicks. He will be tanked up rather heavily. Edge trying to get some revenge from the previous game. Gives him the warning shots with the AKM. Nasty, nasty gun. 7.62, 49 per bullet, regardless of what, well, obviously depending on what your armor is, and you get diminishing returns after that, but still, baseline 7.62, it's always going to hurt.
Look at this. I love this. The shot of the 2 teams right now sat in first and second. And we saw Liquid play this sort of strategy before. This is something not uncommon to us, but they've gone for the 2-2 split this time. And Gold, very different approach. They have made it across the bridge. They're breaching through that Milta town area, taking a bit of a wider route, not wanting to go near that town. And
sounds so nice, doesn't it?
Uh-oh, do not stand still near this man.
Almost got a haircut there. Only a level 1 helmet, though. If you're the sniper, I mean, I'd really hope that one of his teammates had a level 2. They could give him the level 2 helmet, so he does have this utility to be allowed to peek these shots, because, you know, when you've got this big boy gun, 30% damage reduction on the face is not a lot. He's the one that you need to be able to give him the utility to poke, give him the utility to peek, get the information, maybe try and take a face or 2. Level 2 chest, level 2 bag, scar on the back as well. It's an extended mag. I'm seeing. He's happy. 5.56, 7.62. What's the med situation? 10 stims. And an adrenaline as well. Okay.
He's feeling very energized after this.
He is.
Hopefully he doesn't get, you know, shaky hands or anything.
Ironically, his tag's Energetic Turtle.
I don't think that was the original name.
Savage. Does have an SKS. He can fire back if he needs to, but gotta be careful. That's 6 times you can see it, and you can see on the map on the left-hand side, guys, this is one hell of a dense circle. The Knights still opt to go through Liquid's town. He has Naya. That's going to be looted up. More than likely be pushed out unless they've got the luckiest shift of all time. I think Dre's having a bit of a mare. Just whip his car out. Still, guys in the back will be keeping eyes on both Liquid and Gold.
Look at this shift as well. This actually pushes Gold and Liquid to a very similar area as well. Gold are going to be heading north. That's going to be in between Scoom, possibly Ibby. This could be big. This could be the 2 big teams not far away from each other. A huge shift on the eastern side here. And it looks like Liquid want to head north. And it looks like Genji Gold had the same idea.
Yeah.
Knights might get there before them. This could be another scuffle coming out. This could be a disaster. Look at these 2 teams. You have the top 2 teams currently sandwiched together going across the same bridge. They are right on each other. Gold have pulled up. Liquid trying to carry on forward. They do not want any of this, and I do not blame them. Samty, get running, boy, because you do not want to mess with these guys.
James just fluffed it on the back a little bit for a second time as well. He's fallen off the back. Oh, no. They can see him from 2 different angles. He sticks out the arm. The smoke will go down. He did hit the ditch. Saying that, oh my God, look at Na'Vi. I think they've lost 2 players. They've been run over. Back to back, that must have been the vehicle. It flipped and killed them all.
Look how proactive Gold are being about this kill as well, though. They are ensuring that James is not going to have a nice time out of this. They are being methodical and cruel. Na'Vi have found Chiefs indeed. They're making that one been a bit of a problem here. They're going to be finding the revenge for those couple of issues that they had, but Eska looking for the opportunity, but it's actually Simpson on the bit of a flank on a wider angle here. One of the OMG players being put into the action as well. James making his run for it. He's got to get out of there as fast as he can. He does find the angle to just dip down behind this little bit of a ridge, a little bit of a hill. He stays alive.
I mean, it's no surprising that Eska's at the top of that kill board, right? Was it 20 so far in the bag? I mean, I think he used to play for, I think it's now classified as Seoul Dynasty in the Overwatch League. Lunatic High, I want to say. Very, very highly regarded Overwatch player. So you know he's going to be able to aim. It's transitioned well. 20 kills in the bag so far across 7 games is a fantastic, fantastic showing. Meanwhile, CGW are falling both to Savage and OMG. In the kill feed, they're tearing them apart. OMG are going to bail from this. Willem's already tanked up on top. Lion KK needs to help his teammate out. Looks like he's at least got him back up with that amount of HP. The smokes are there. Myth's inside as well. Balok also with a 24. Double drop comes in. One towards Skull, one towards just on the edge of Roshawk. Will anybody take advantage of these, or unfortunately at this stage in the game, is it just bait?
I think everyone's too scared. It's such a big risk. I know it seems like whenever you watch the online games or something of the such, that it seems like a lot of people would do this. It's so scary to go for. Na'Vi is still up to some business here. Actually, Genji Black is struggling in this one. They've been picked up a couple of times. Sexy Pig gets the confirmed kill towards him. So now we're going to be seeing a couple of these teams being worked away at. I guess it's teams working in towards compounds or trying to get comfortable. It's north of that riverside. And it looks like 4AM are still alive in this.
Black. They're going to crash into Na'Vi just on the edge. Na'Vi have been in a lot of engagement so far throughout this. They've been playing for 14 minutes, and I think they've already gone up against, is it 3 teams now? Texas in the kill feed. Will punch out critical from the Chiefs. Esker, again, the man with the plan who can. No kills in the bag this game so far, but speaking about early on, 20 to boot. Simpson on the top here. It's a nice crest on this hill. They can just keep people in the front line in the houses, so he's got the ability to move, while 2 of them in the back. And it's one thing that I think from both Gen G teams, we've seen them in the 2-2 splits. They don't often like just to go as a full pack.
And I have to say, if you look at that positioning, if you ever played that area, your one big downfall of the compound that you have kind of Loki and Esker sitting in is that hillside. You get the perfect angle in it. So getting that 2-2 split gives you not only vision, it also gives you just really good ground to sit in. It gives you such excellent cover in a complementary position to each other. Very smart play. Now it looks like Liquid have done something different. If you want to look at those 2 teams, you've got the kind of 2-1-1, and that's to head Chibet, so you don't have to do what Gold is about to do. They have to get back on the vehicles and get moving. If anyone's locking down that eastern bridge, there could be problems for this, but for now that's not the case. They're going to take a very wide swing, and Liquid are on the move, and they've already spotted out some players. Samty
with the spray. That's the red dot compensator. And the Scar, actually. Someone fancies to challenge. I mean, I don't want to challenge him when he's got this 24 in his back pocket. Gen G Gold has a nasty route here. They're going to have to play the blue to get in. You cannot go across that Yasnaya Pond bridge. They're going to have to play a blue. Absolutely. If they want to come in at the top.
They're doing it.
The problem is, when they come in at the top, there's not really any compounds to take.
Now look how meticulous they are as well, making sure they get out of the vehicles to then stim, in case anyone had seen them. If anyone was on the way, it's a very easy shot. They take the cover, they take the time. Even though it's a very unlikely position to see people in, I like that. That's a really nice mental approach from them. That's very, very well thought out. So on the way they go, they'll be taking the very wide swing around the east of Yasnaya. They'll be coming in towards the north. There are a couple of teams around there, but they could probably find some safety. They'll be thinking about that. They've got their scout heading further forward. Let's look further afield on towards that western side, that southern side where this crunch will be happening.
Oh no, they're driving into Liquid. I don't think he realizes this. Simpson's getting the information. He's out of the blue now. There we go. So this is really, really smart. Pulls up. He's not in the circle yet. Takes a look at the compounds. Remember, all these teams know the prime location. They know where they're going. He said, okay, boys, this is taken. Let's carry on, which they do. They're now moving. Honey Badger Nation now becomes their next problem because they're on the very northern ridge of the circle. Q-Rad will fall in the kill feed. He's dead. So is Wyson as well. We've already lost one team's Diaz.
Here comes the clash. Look at this. You've got Gold coming up against Honey Badger Nation. They're both very northern. They're in a very uncomfortable position because the blue is moving in. So
Orthodox.
They're going to have to kind of work their way around this. They'll probably see each other and veer off course, kind of like Magnus, you know, opposing, pushing themselves away. So yeah, you're going to see Honey Badger Nation heading around. You're going to get a little bit of a glimpse onto that. But Gold, you see that wide route. They're going back in the blue. They don't want any of that. They want none of that.
Where do they come in though? There's teams scattered throughout the entirety of the edge. Or do you come in on? They can do Severny?
There's not much room around Savannah. You've got a bit of the hill there, but not much cover to it. You can position towards it, but there's another team in their way, so it's not like going to have a free run on this one. Honey Badger Nation in a bit of a ranged fight with Liquid. They'll be taking their time. They don't need to overcommit to any of these angles. You can see that rolling hillside they're playing off the back of. I want to look towards Gold and see what predicament they're in, because you've got Welcome South George over there. You've got a couple of other teams keeping eyes towards this. This is not going to be free, and Gold are knowing that. They're getting tagged up here a little bit. Maybe a bit more damage from the blue than they'd like, but here comes the play, and Winner could be the one to really hurt this. You're going to see the shots going through. If any of those disconnect, you could see a bit of a predicament unfold. But for now, they are safe. But they don't seem happy with this spot at all.
It's not a great place whatsoever. I mean, if you're a betting man, this circle will probably move. They're also getting flanked from the left-hand side. You don't see it on screen, but we see it on the map. There is one player creeping up on them. This could be all kinds of problem if he gets the right angle. They've smashed the 2 players back. That's good work from them. Those 2 players from AHQ now have to back off, but there is one lingering on the left-hand side.
Secret when he joins in. K3 is the man who could be the dagger in the back. And the fire comes through. He has unleashed. Now, he does not have any really much to work with. And actually, a third party has really helped out. M4 going down means that now they need to fall back away from this. And it looks like Gold will, again, live to fight another day. But we said it before. Not happy about this circle. They're going to get back in their vehicles and move. They are not sticking around here, and I do not blame them. Now, AHQ did lose out one of those 3 players that was taking that fight. But now everyone has to crunch towards that northwestern side. This is going to end around the southern hills, maybe southeast hills of shooting range. This is how it happens. Knights are in a really good spot, though.
Center of the circle at the moment is free. You've only got about 4 teams inside. Refund find Myth. OMG onto Ghost. Turtle hits the deck. That's the mini coming out, doing its job. Esker's going in. You can see Myth in the kill feed, unfortunately not having the best of times.
Wait, what?
Run over. What just happened?
Gold are in a fight right now as well. They've just been getting killed here. Fast Rain goes down. This is huge. Esker's in a battle. Loki's now knocked out as well. There's pressure everywhere. You got Honey Badger Nation up towards that kind of southern side. A couple of nades could be coming just around it. Simpson going for a bit of a walk. Nade comes out. Wix chomping at the bit to chime in on this one, try and get the battle going, but they're trying to slow the other pace down from the other side, trying to hinder their hit coming in. Gold can get the revive towards Loki, so he will be back up here, but this doesn't mean the pressure's stopping. Look who's in the back lines.
Yeah, this could be dangerous. It could cause them all kinds of problems, even if it's just knocking one player and taking their attention away from Honey Badger Nation. If he does this, he's got a DP as well. All right, it's level 1 when you look at the utility, but still the DP, it hits like a tank, 49 per bullet.
Surely you don't do this.
I mean, you'd expect Esker just to bail on this one. The gun is a tank buster at the end of the day. Liquid might have just helped out Gold here. Yeah,
absolutely. The third party coming in now, but look at that one man we said was behind them. Behind Gold, could still do some damage. He's in the back lines there with that DP. If he creeps his way up, he could unravel a lot of what they've been trying to build here. This cover could be done for. Honey Badger Nation as well, waiting to get involved into this one. James' nade is excellent, though.
Oh, they're going to hit each other.
Huge work, and now Liquid and Gold are right next to each other. This is massive now. Honey Badger Nation are done for. He's working his way forward. This could be everything. Liquid are under fire. Gold don't realize it. What? Oh, look, South George just helped them out. The assassin in the back lines gets taken down. Gold are keeping Liquid at range, and they are battling for this line. Liquid are not in the new zone yet. They still need to move forward. They still have to get past Gold somehow.
Gaxi has no idea how much help he's just given to Gold. He's removed the Terminator from behind them, and now they can look forward. It's your 2 top teams now, number 1 and number 2. Gen G versus Liquid. Could this be the fight to seal the fate of number 1?
This would still be pretty good news for Liquid if they could carry on after this, but actually they're peeling away from this a little bit. The car gets used, could be bait. Samty and Skoom are still around. Don't believe it just yet. You've got Skoom taking a bit of a fight here. Ragnar's joined in, but that's not on this fight. You're going to be seeing the shots come through, but no tags really being made. This is a scrappy battle, to say the least. A bit of a brawl between these two, but they're split now, and actually James goes on a wide swing, maybe trying to draw the attention as Skoom's still looking for a fight here. But these guys are on point, and there we go. Gold already going to take down one. Samty goes. Are they going to push off this? That's the big question. Nade goes up, and it looks like they want to, but will the nade go far enough? No. Samty will stay alive, and maybe he'll be picked up by someone else because they are hungry for this.
They've bailed on it, but in doing this, Lauren, look at how spread they are. They're thin across the map. Gold are all over the place. Samty goes down. So does James as well. That's Voxic picking him up on his way by. He's going to bleed out. 2 players of Liquid remain. This is dangerous, dangerous time here. Voxic will see that one through. The Knights, they claim another 15 points. Meanwhile, Gold, they're allowed to gather their thoughts, get themselves back together, get tanked up to health. Ibby and Skoom once again. This is the problem for these teams on the outskirts. There's no one in the middle. Everyone's playing edge here. No one just, it's the last game. Everyone's a little bit scared to go get stuck in. Liquid's there, but they're only down to 2 men.
Welcome to South George. Could still pose a threat for Gold potentially, but this position is still relatively comfortable, and the new circle, it looks quite nice for them. It just centralizes. It moves further forward. 4 AM under fire, and as is OMG. The rest of the teams towards the south, though, that is going to be a big fight waiting to explode.
Gold's position might see them move down south. WTSG and AHQ all the way up north. Genji Black, though, Grammatic falls, so does Pure Boy. They're both knocks, the knock kills. Diaz looking for more, and so does Refund. 45 players alive, 15 teams, 23 minutes 30 into the game. This next circle is going to start to really hurt teams. That Southern Bank, though, 1, 2, 3, 7 teams all down south. TG still scraping to try and get in here. They're fighting from the blue. And it all comes down to this. Oh, I hear the crowd go wild. Essa's down, CeeLo's dead as well. Genji Black are having a bit of a mare, Lauren.
Yeah, they're not having a good game at all here. They're being picked apart by so many different players. Now, Gold are on the move. They're going to try and make a bit of a mad dash for it. Knights will unleash a couple of shots here. Does catch a little bit towards the bike. And gotta be so careful. Hit the deck. The fire comes in. Actually, from the back lines, this could be a real issue for Gold. It was behind them. It might be 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That could indeed be 4 a.m. But Liquid, again, are playing this weird safety keeper for them. Liquid put down the fire. They put down 4 a.m. But Gold turn it around. It's God v gone down. And welcome to South George. Found Loki as well, though. That's a confirmed kill. 4 a.m. claimed that one. And now this needs to be some big work coming out. This guy's hunting Liquid. He knows. He wants it all himself, but a little low on the range. He's getting the tags, but not the frags. And now we're seeing a couple of them finding it.
I mean, the headshot came through. That's what saved his teammate's life. He knocked that 4 a.m. player at range with the SKS. Did him a favor. At least gives Scoom a bit of a warning shot now to back off. Balok goes down. So does Meow. Pure Boy, they're only knocks, but Balok is a finish. And that looks like potentially Crest Gaming Xanadu, they're out. Rather unfortunate for them. Pino, he's also gone as well. Genji Black, they're starting to turn up a little bit now, get some revenge. Mikoy, he's gone. Ghost Gaming, they end up running 13.
Cover. Look at him trying to crawl his way in. He's desperate for some cover here. He might just be in the circle as well. He's done so well to get that far, but he can't get far enough. It's 4 a.m. coming into the late of night, trying to get this one done, doing the damage. And Gold are getting punished here. That was stolen by Welcome to South George. And Savage are out. This is huge from Refund as well.
Look who's in the middle. Savage, unfortunately, will fall. An Octave, he hits the deck and dies. K3 gets in with a nade, 11 teams, 26. 2 members, I think, from Gold, 2 members from Liquid. Both of them the most central players in the map. 2 up from 4 a.m., 2 up from OMG. 2 up from Avanga. What's going on? The big fight that might actually happen, Lauren, with all 4 players on either side. It's WTSG and the Knights in the northern end of the circle.
It could be. They're the 2 big remaining squads here. Knights in a bit of a battle, to say the least. WTSG working forward, and the circle is on neither of them. So that fight towards the north is going to be big. And now, actually, Genji Black still fighting a good fight, though. These guys are not backing away from this at all. And OHM is being punished here as well. That is the southern side battle coming through on the kill feed. Yunroot finding that one alleviates some of that pressure, so now they can maybe work their way forward to that circle.
Yeah, that's the pick he needed. There's only 2 of them alive, Esther and Yunroot. They need to go, and they need to go now. CDAT is the only one alive there for OHM, and he is literally single-handedly standing between them and the circle. You've got Avanga, you've got OMG, all on eyes on them. So it's going to be a bit of a careful creep. This is the fight we spoke about earlier.
Voxic is still there, Texas is still there, but welcome South Georgia Knights were almost neck and neck in that points as well. They were right down there 4th, 5th. They were next to each other, so that for them is a huge placement fight. That means so much to them. Welcome South Georgia trying to take a bit of a swing towards the western side. You've already got Bard on a vehicle. He's going to get out of there. Knights have a bit of a split going on, and actually it's Gaxi to find one. That's big for them. Going into their pocket gives them room to work, and it's going to be surely a follow-up as well. Dre is on the move. He's trying to get out of there, but it's Vard to find Texas in the end.
Yumroot will fall, and that Genji Black down in 10th. 9 teams remain, 20 players. As soon as I say that, Texas, he's gone. Esker and Ibiza on screen, your 2 top teams again, fighting tooth and nail. As far as they can get up in that leaderboard, they are central circle, damn near it. 4 a.m. on the outskirts, they're going to be Gold's next problem. Scoom can see Simpson. WTSG, Larsen's going for it. WTSG won a piece of the action. They're now pulled up. They're in the middle. That's a big fight because they just completely, they wiped out all of the Knights, so they're all still alive. They took that fight perfectly.
Somehow they've made it, but Ibi has not. He got caught in the meantime, so now it leaves just Scoom alive, and there's no recovery in this. There's no revives going to be available, no way. Ibi could try and crawl, maybe get some information, put some markers out, make some comms towards Scoom so he knows what's going on, but beyond that, you've got OMG just wiping things up out here. They've been lighting up that kill feed the entire time. I don't know how they've been doing that. And now Gold's remaining 2 players still holding firm here. Not a high kill game for them, but their positioning was excellent. So again, Coming into this game, they had such a strong lead. You still feel this should be enough for them.
You've got to be careful, though. With GU and CPT from 4 AM. It depends which way they go. It's 2 versus 2, but Gold are very, very split, so it depends how much the Defilade can actually get eyes on them. WTSG, 4-man strong. They can take the northern end of the circle. They're happy. They can play for placement and play for money at this rate, to be honest with you. It's great for them. 2 alive for Avanga. Same for them. They want to jump up. AHQ, left-hand side, western swing of the circle. He'll see all this. He'll be given all this information now and calling for Simpson to give him a hand. As soon as we say that, both of those arrows of those players just turn on a pinhead. The circle will dictate the next few minutes of this game, though.
Gotta be so careful. Circle goes central. Scoom's still in it. Gold is still there. Not Esker, though. He's on the outskirts. He was playing on the very edge of this. Springs up. It's time to fight. The accuracy is formidable. What a player and what a play from the remainders of Gold. And he wants a bit more of the action. That's a whole squad. Are you mad right now? He's got to be careful. He's got to play a little safe, surely. He's going to make it as hard for the opponents as he possibly can. He's taking out everything. He's taking everything away from them.
Esker, this is a grand final stage. You can't just stand up and take out 2 like that. He's secured Simpson the circle. By doing this, he's now taken off the pressure from behind them. They're still going, Lauren. They want more. They're absolutely smashing WTSG from the floor.
This could be a disaster for the other squads as well. Gold looking so good late game. They're taking every fight. WTSG were looking good to maybe push themselves up into a better position, but that may not be the case. The revives are coming in. Esker bought himself a second, but Scoom, he's still alive as well.
That was 2 back-to-back. Keenan Mumino from Avanga. They hit the deck in 5th position. Fantastic work from Scoom. Single man surviving for Liquid. He jumps them up into 5th. Esker now, he's felt the wrath of WTSG. You poke the bear, you get the claws. Maybe his time here is done on the battlefield, but he did enough at least to inject them up to the top rankings of 5th place minimum. Gaxi collecting any bits he can from his fallen comrade. Liquid, only man surviving is Scoom. Surely for Gold, it'll be Simpson as well. AHQ, they have 2. WTSG, who've moved further deeper into the circle with the vehicles, they have 3.
This is the tense moments now. Everyone looking for those angles, trying to find any information, clinging onto that last bit of utility to put down to play. And Esker does finally fall. Valiant attempt from him throughout this. Huge kills coming in as well.
I think he did more than enough to take out 4 AM like that. He's secured them this. 4 AM could have pretty much run into Simpson, because then you would have had the problem of they've had nobody inside the circle and had to run the gauntlet.
Okay, so this turns into just snakes everywhere. No planes needed. They're fine. You've got AHQ on the move. Liquid is being surrounded. Scoom is in a bit of an issue if he gets spotted out here. He needs to be aware of this one. He needs to be careful somehow. If they spot him out, does he see them though? I'm wondering. I think he's got the information, at least on one. I think he's going to be able to spot the other, and the circle shifts.
Oh, it's WTSG's circle, and they've got 3 surviving. Vehicles as well for utility. Looks like they either have the information of where Simpson is, or maybe they're just the warning shots coming from Gaxi across. You can see how spread they are. They do have a tree. They have the rock side in the vehicles. Gaxi's the only one outside. He can watch this backside. If I like what he's doing, though, staying outside the circle, because if he sees Simpson run, then they have that info. Who plays spoiler, though? Who goes first? Scoom obviously needs to worm his way in. K3's made it in for AHQ. Winner's on the back line if he does. Could Winner be the problem here and eliminate either Scoom or Simpson?
He could, but whether it would be enough to affect the overall rankings, that's beyond the point.
Yeah, top 4 for both of these. You'd assume that it's 2nd and 1st confirmed, but...
Well, it's the last chance to dance. You've got 5 seconds till that blue starts to move. So here it comes. It's going to be pushing all of these players forward. Simpson now needs to get up and make a move for it. Makes a run. He gets tagged on the go. Can he get to cover? It looks like it might be done for. Scoom, though, he turns it on a dime. That's Winner gone. He could have been the threat and actually helps out Gold again. Now, will they do the same for him? No, it looks like Scoom is down and out. It's Liquid gone. Now in towards the 3 remaining teams. Simpson is still doing it. Gold are still getting points. AHQ finally stopped his run, but it's not over yet. Down to 2 teams.
Tagging and bagging. Simpson, before he went down, he didn't go down without a fight. He took out several members, as you said. For Scoom, though, might have done him a little bit of a favor by taking out Winner.
Certainly could have. 4 players standing. K3 taking a hell of a lot of damage. I don't know how he's going to get out of that. He's got one angle to work with. Vard is hungry, and Vard gets his dinner. Welcome to South George. Win the final game, but will it be enough to be the final winners?
Fantastic work from every single team. Every team has fought it down to the very last circle. The very last points, it all came down to game number 8. We won't be confirming anything until we see the final standings, but honestly, for me, if I were as a betting man, I'd be definitely looking at gold, and honestly, I think they are as well. They're cheering around, which would suggest that they are victors in this one. The fans, the signs are already there, Lauren. What a way to end it.
Considering they finished in 3rd position in that final game, and then prior to that, they were sat in 1st with a commanding lead. It would have to be nothing short of a miracle to see Liquid push that one, and they fought valiantly. You look at what they did there, that was good. But I don't think it's good enough to take down these guys. They played out of their minds throughout this tournament from day 1 to day 2. They have looked very good, and day 2 has been a very scary prospect to even consider coming up against them.
Well, with all the cameramen on them and all the flash photography, Berlin, please put your hands together for your PUBG Global Invitational 2018 TPP Grand Champions. It's Gen G Gold. Well, I believe we do have Cam down on the floor with an interview. So let's jump on in with, oh, we're actually coming back to us. Never mind, excuse me, I thought we were going back down to Cam.
Cam, I'm sure he's going to be getting himself ready on the stage, giving the team a moment just to calm themselves, because that was a huge victory for them. They played a phenomenal brand of PUBG. They played a great game, and you can see exactly what it means to them. They fought with real heart throughout this game. They showed some real mental fortitude, some incredible mechanical ability, and they brought it to the forefront there, not only in the final game, but throughout the last couple of days as well.
Let's just take a quick reminder at their run to get here. So far, we've seen them in the Survival Series, they came 2nd. In the Warfare Masters, they came 2nd. In the Africa TV League, they came 2nd. Bit of a dodgy run when we looked at Survival Series number 1, they came 18th. They had definitely a good one. They've been 2nd 3 times. This is the world's biggest stage, Lauren. They've just come 1st.
And Gen G Black are right there with them.
That's... I mean, if you're talking about a league that was going to do well here at this at the PGI Championships, it was going to be this one. The Korea League is so big. The fact that you've got 36 teams playing, to find 2 out of 36...
They're going to be good.
It takes so much work to do it. It's a gauntlet.
No, that was truly impressive. No one can take that away from them either. The way they played, there was no... Yeah, they played just a good game of PUBG. It was a good brand of it. You look at teams who can cheese or do these kind of quirky plays, they don't work over time, they get found out, they get kind of pushed aside. They played the perfect game throughout this for quite some time. They played it cautiously when they had to. We saw the individual fire just coming out in that last couple of moments. Some individual kills then were outstanding. Welcome South George almost got completely eliminated by 1 player. That's pretty scary.
They pushed them back. They put so much pressure on them to disallow them to knock them out in that position. Because if they hadn't done, they'd be able to get the further kills going down. I think to not only to... It was a bit of a wild, fortunate set of circumstances. The fact that they managed to take out 4AM. That double kill, I call it a double kill, but 2 to 2 like that, back to back is ridiculous. To do that, Scoom then to take out Winner to help them out, but then not to repair the favor and take out Scoom like that. I'd still say Liquid's probably done extremely well here.
For a European team coming into a tournament like this in this game mode, you wouldn't expect them to be so proficient, but I think it just speaks volumes to how good they are as a collective and what we can expect from them going further into this tournament. This was only 3rd-person perspective. We have the 1st-person perspective coming up. We have a lot more variety coming up in the next couple of days as well. But I think this just sets the tone. I think we have some incredibly talented players, incredibly talented teams, and we're going to get some incredibly exciting results out of this. I think you can't take anything away from anyone within that top 3, and I'm actually curious about that top 3, how that unfolds now, because I'm not sure on that 3rd team, because it was very close from around that kind of third down in the standings prior to that matchup.
I think up to maybe 6 or 7. I think
Oh,
it was still all fair game for anybody who wanted to have a crack at it. And with WTSG being able to solidify a win at the end,
That could be them jumping to third.
it launches them straight up. They might be taking home a pan. We might even potentially, you know, hey, who knows? Until we get the scores, we don't actually want to start confirming things. But we do know one thing. It's going to be very, very close.
Yes. I think the overall standings are what we're kind of curious about now, just to see the overall scope of how that played out, because prior to the end of this one, it was Gold and Liquid, not surprising, OMG, Welcome South George, Knights, and Maiden Thailand. So those guys were very close by, very much a couple of points away. You know, you're looking at a couple of kills, maybe 15, 20, you know, some of those points kind of in between them. But beyond that, you're looking at, if you got third place, first place, second in the game, that's when we could see the big jump up happen. And I'm pretty sure Welcome South George might have done at least pushing those points up. I'm not sure how OMG did in that matchup.
What did they go down very, very early? At the
7th. So they got to 7th place.
Yeah, that was the building push that we saw.
So again, that could shake things up here. This is what I love about this. Those final moments where you have to just kind of sit there and try and work out. Yeah, exactly. There's so many variables that could have happened there, but we will get confirmation. We'll be putting up on your screens as soon as we know, but I think we're pretty certain on our first and second place.
First and second places, yeah. Now from this, we look on, obviously, we do have the Charity Invitational tomorrow, which is going to be all nice fun and games. Looking forward to that one. But then we move into FPP. Now, do we see a different state of affairs when it comes to FPP, or do we see these top Asian teams turning it up as they have done so far?
That's what I want.
This is the biggest question. What happens next?
Well, we looked at the theoretical play coming out from the likes of Gold, the likes of any other team that was well within that top 10 was good. The theory is there. It's the mechanics that we're curious about, because we even saw Europe and NA and any other region dip down when it came to the individual kills in comparison to the likes of the Korean teams out there. They were hitting that up hard. They were very much well within first place for those sort of kind of aggressive maneuvers and the kills that followed up, the mechanical ability sat beside them. So will that switch back around? That's what we're going to find out in the next coming couple of days, but it does seem as though this is the rankings from just that final game, not the overall tallied points.
Nope, the round rankings indeed. Na'Vi, not a great showing from them. TG 17th, Honey Badger Nation 19th. Saw them surviving for a little bit, but kind of speaks volumes about more of a passive game. Generation Gaming Black, place 12. We saw them with the early fights, so same with Ghost Gaming, same with Na'Vi. But it was WTSG indeed who managed to get themselves another chicken dinner, so it's going to do wonderful things for their points. But as we said, Lauren, when you look at 480 points combined for a second place, and you already had over 500 buffer,
Here we go. There's the rankings. Overall, it was enough for WTSG, but more importantly, Gold do confirm that first place position. Liquid will be up in second. And as I said, OMG get pushed down to 4th away from that top 3.
2 European teams sneak in to the top 2, but it will be Generation Gaming Gold who do claim victory. They'll be taking home the Golden Pans and $400,000. And I think also, we don't have this confirmed yet, but Hesker on 20 kills, I think he could be going the 10 grand to boot, because he also had some more kills in the final game as well.
That is incredible work from them. So well played. I think it's almost time to head down to the ceremony. Once we get the nod for it, we will head over to it. But these guys played an impeccable game. They have to be truly proud of what they've achieved here. I think everyone in the audience thoroughly enjoyed what we watched, and this means the world to them.
They set out to do one thing, and that's claim victory at one event. They went to 5, they had 3 second places, but now they are the champions. Now they own the stage. If there was ever a time to do it, this was it. $400,000 in the bag and 4 golden pans. We're going to throw it down to the host. Let's see what they have to say.